Hi guys, today I'm going to run through a little bit about stress for you. So the goal for this video is for you to leave having a better understanding of what stress actually is physiologically and how it's affecting your body, and then a couple of simple take homes for you to be able to do to help manage your stress and of course therefore your health. So you all know that there's different types of stress. Okay, there's good stress, there's the not so good stress. The good stress is the stress like training, that is an acute sense that we can actually recover from. And then there's the stress that is more long-term, chronic stress, that is the stress that we want to mitigate and manage more. So the main stress hormone is cortisol. Okay, cortisol, when we speak about cortisol, we actually speak about cortisol dysregulation, not so much whether cortisol is high, because cortisol, like all our hormones, actually has a circadian rhythm. So it's not a bad hormone. Okay, cortisol has been given a bad rap, but it's actually an important hormone like all of our hormones. It's just that when it's dysregulated, then that's when it becomes a problem. So what we want from cortisol is we want it to be super high in the morning when we wake up. Okay, so we want it to be up here when we wake up, and we want it to be slowly coming down throughout the day until when we want to go to sleep at night, it's the lowest. So cortisol is a energy giving hormone. That's why we want it to be highest in the morning, because that's actually our cue when our cortisol is highest for us to wake up. So if you're pretty good at waking up without an alarm at a regular time, then there's a good chance that your hormone is regulated in the morning to be high. So once again, we want it to be high in the morning and then decrease throughout the day to being super low when we're going to bed. Now, there's melatonin. Melatonin runs inverse of this, okay? So we want melatonin is basically the opposite hormone in terms of what it does. It's our sleepy hormone. So we want this to be lowest in the morning, where cortisol is the highest, and we want it to be highest at night, sending us to sleep. So cortisol dysregulation simply means that our cortisol doesn't follow that same pathway of being high in the morning and low at night. So dysregulation might be high all the way through, it might be low all the way through, it might be high in the morning, then slowly coming down like it should, but then go back up at night. So there's all these different patterns that cortisol can follow. To know the pattern, we really need to get some salivary testing done, which is done across 4 points in the day. So we get 4 points. We get upon waking, we get mid-morning, we get mid-afternoon, and we get evening. And that gives us a full view of what's happening throughout the day. So just going to run through now sort of some signs and symptoms and some consequences of dysregulated hormone, of dysregulated cortisol, sorry. So if our cortisol is high all the time, okay, some things that you can experience is either high energy all the time, because it is that energy giving hormone, or it can go inverse as well and actually make you very tired all the time, very fatigued. You'll also be more prone to high blood pressure. You'll have normally sort of puffy cheeks, puffy face, often quite red in the face. Your sleep quality won't be very good. You'll have trouble losing fat, especially around your abdomen area. You'll have decreased libido, okay, decreased sex hormones, and yeah, you won't feel like you can go out and seize the day, basically. Then we have low cortisol. Okay, so this is where we're more low throughout the day. Definitely struggle getting out of bed with this one. You'll often be dizzy, low blood pressure, irregular bowel movements, irregular menstrual periods if you're female, very low sex drive, and very non-competitive, just sort of almost a shell of a human being. So also depression and anxiety can come in here as well with low cortisol. So there's different symptoms, both whether you're high, whether you're low. So if you're just dysregulated in general, okay, some common things that you're going to experience across the board is definitely impaired sleep because of that dysregulation. So impaired sleep, impaired ability to lose fat and gain muscle. You're going to be going into protein breakdown a lot more. You're going to be more catabolic in terms of bone density as well. Definitely irregular bowel movements overall, and just low sex drive overall, decreased immune function overall, decreased ability to lose fat. So you can see that if our cortisol isn't regulated, it's not great for our health. We're not going to be feeling great. We're not going to be full of energy. We're not going to be feeling good about ourselves. We're not going to have a high sex drive. And the reason with the sex drive is because basically what happens is with our cortisol to be secreted from our adrenal glands, which are near our kidneys, we have signals going from our gut, okay, neurotransmitters going from our gut to our brain, our hypothalamus, and then that sends out signals to the pituitary gland, and then that sends out signals to the adrenals to secrete cortisol. So once we've secreted cortisol with a mixture of different things in our bloodstream, fats, vitamin B5, some LDLs eventually, we make what's called pregnenolone. Pregnenolone is the mother hormone, and from that we can either send it across to progesterone and make our stress hormones, or we can go down and make our sex hormones. So our sex hormones, when we're over here, we're pretty much anabolic, so we're in a really good parasympathetic state. It's where we're recovering well, it's where we're building muscle, it's where our sex drive is high, it's where our stress is low. But then over here on the other side is the reverse. So that's where our stress is high, all those signs of high and dysregulated cortisol that I just spoke about, which also means that this side is not happening. So it means that we can't be anabolic, we can't have a high sex drive, we can't have that high consistent energy and blood sugar control. So it's either one or the other. So no matter where you are, whether you're high, whether you're low, whether you're up and down, then there's a couple of things that you can do to, I guess, safeguard you as a big protective measure. So what we want to do is we want to try and not just deal with the symptom. Okay, we don't want to just have simply some more caffeine in the morning if our cortisol is low in the morning to try and bring our cortisol up, but we want to try and get to the root cause of why is our cortisol low in the morning, or why is it too high at night. And remember, we send those neurotransmitters from the gut, from the brain as well to the hypothalamus, and that sends out signals to our pituitary. Our pituitary then sends signals to our adrenals to make that cortisol. So if there's a problem upstream, if there's a problem in the gut or in the brain, then that's where the cortisol dysregulation is actually the majority of the time going to come from. So a couple of supplements that are recommended by Dan Garner, who's a nutrition specialist and looks at this area of things, would be glutamine, L-glutamine. L-glutamine is a amino acid, but it's very good for gut repair. Okay, so having 5 to 10 grams of L-glutamine morning and night. It's a very cheap supplement. It doesn't taste like anything. I've been taking it for a long time in the mornings. So some L-glutamine, that can help gut repair. Some fish oil, which is another foundation supplement that is recommended that most of us take all the time. So that can be a combined 3 grams of EPA and DHA. Okay, they're your 2 main fatty acids. So that's for the brain. Some magnesium for all of the processes taking place. So those 3 supplements will be a really good start to dealing with any cortisol dysregulation. And then also including some deep breathing. This is more especially at evening and night time if you feel like your cortisol is high at those times. So some deep breathing. The deep breathing that has always been my go-to is just a 4-6-8. So breathing in for 4 into the belly, holding for 6, and out for 8. You could do this lying down, you could do this seated, okay, but even just 4 cycles of that, of a 4 hold for 6 and an out for 8 will have you feeling a lot differently, and it can actually start reducing that cortisol a little bit. So hopefully that gives you a few practices of what you can do and how to move forward with your health, so we can start taking more charge of your energy and of your body composition, because we can be eating the right amount of calories, you can be hitting the right macros, but if the foundation isn't working, then all of that stuff is going to be in vain. If you want more specific details on this, or if you want actually to get some testing, then speak to me and I can point you in the right direction of someone that can get you some testing, so you can do some more targeted supplementation protocols to make sure that it is individualized to you and your dysregulation. So hopefully that makes sense, guys. See you soon.